Welcome back to the KOA Sports League.
Welcome back to the KOA Sports League.
Welcome back to the KOA Sports League.
We've got live broadcasts like you've never seen before.
Sinclair's holding them off. Cohen's off the front. Giuliano up the inside. Looks like Giuliano's going to time that attack perfectly.
We've got a pre-show like you've never seen before.
And in the race tonight, Alessio has a victim, and he's beaten him twice out of 2 times they've ever raced, and that's Yuri. So he's got the wood, as we like to say. We've got live workouts like you've never seen before. Seconds to go, 7 seconds to go. Start to grit those teeth, and you've just got to loosen the grip and push a little bit harder.
Performance verification like you've never seen before. Hang on. Whoa. Wait, hey. Mate, you're in the book. What's your Valentine? Right, you're in the book, mate. You're in the book. Kent Cross, you're in the book.
And it's all free.
And it's all free.
And it's all free. Hello and welcome back to the KOA Sports League Community Race. It's Friday morning in Australia and east coast of the US and Canada, where we have a stack of athletes. We're on Thursday night. Welcome everybody, and welcome Tim Ballantyne.
Hey, thanks very much, mate. Geez, last night. Unbelievable last night, of course, Australian time. We had a crack, didn't we? We definitely had a crack, and geez, didn't the riders have a crack. So, we managed to pull together the chop, now the Cycling Australia AHDR chop. Got to get that right, don't we? And we covered A and B grade there, and we were jumping back and forth between our league race, which was absolutely on like Donkey Kong, mate. So, of course, this morning, our ever-growing and ever-popular KOA Sports Warrior race in the community. There's over 250.
I reckon we're shooting for 300, Tim. We're about 5-6 minutes out from race start, so over 300 starters around Sand and Sequoia on Watopia. So we're really looking forward to bringing you this coverage. We have got over 20 riders, Tim, rated under 200 on Zwift.
Jeepers.
This is going to be epic.
Hold on to your hats.
Epic.
And we've got 2 screens going again, so we're going to try and cover as much ground as we can again tonight. So, this morning I'm totally lost track of time here. So we're of course going to cover a bit of C and D grade and B grade. So we'll try and jump around a little bit, but those guys off the front, jeepers, they are going to be flying around this circuit, and we're going to have a look at a few of them now, aren't we?
Yeah, well, first of all, let's have a look at the track that we're going to be smashing it out on this morning around Sand and Sequoia. So, Tim, this race is notoriously fast. The first, we get 2 looks at the finish line in this one, like a few of the events we do. So, very, very flat around Fugo Flats, and you need to stay engaged with your trainer as you go around here, because you cannot win the race here, but you can certainly get dropped out the back end of the field.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you can split this in 2, really. Apart from this tiny little rise here, which we have seen attacks at, mind you, as is sort of like this little oasis section of the sand section. Before we get to Dodgy Vegas and the Clive Palmer dinosaur, Greg, we'll roll through here. But teams start to maybe just sort of start to get on their WhatsApp devices, start to organise some attacks, and then work their way through the early parts of the Titans Grove circuit. But we're, of course, not there yet.
Yep.
But we have seen attacks here, and good coordinated attacks. These teams are really starting to get there, and this is where it starts to kick up into the Titans Grove section. 3-4%, and you start to see some attrition.
Yeah, so the field starts to thin out a little bit here. Certainly the time to grab those handlebars and hang in this front pack. You get a bit of reprieve after we come through this little first section before we hit the actual com up the Titans Grove com, which is 2.2k.
Used to be a 4-minute com. It's now about 3:30 in this race. It used to be a 4-minute com for the front guys, but it's just getting so much faster, and they're getting that full draft effect going up the mountain as well. And you'd think that once you get up over the top, you get a little bit of respite as you come down the other side, but you certainly don't. But starts to get really interesting here. This is where the attrition really starts to kick in, Greg, and that front pack you'll see certainly start to get blown to pieces. Guys like Alex side, tearing it off the front. And it's great to see Alessandro Sproul back in the race tonight, who was a great supporter as late last year.
Yeah, heaps of heavy hitters. Aidan Sinclair, I'll be expecting big things again from the young man. He had a big crack last night, and still at 7-8% as we go through those little kickers. So this is the time again. I've said this 3 times already, but you need to just hold on through here, and then we come back down through the swampy marsh eventually as we wind back down here, and then we hit the flats again and line up for the finish.
Yeah, they almost start to fight for the back of the pack at this point. They start to sort of sit in. You'll even see low 200 watts for some of the front guys who can push well and truly over 1,000 watts. And we had some early attacks last night in our league race. Usually they wait to the ancient ruins on the right-hand side, but they went about here.
Yeah, Messineo.
Messineo and Daz Carter went a bit early, but they're in tonight to try and get some redemption. So there's those ruins, Greg, and then it's on. Yeah,
so there's the sprint com there. So 35 seconds is, 30. I reckon these guys about 25 seconds into the finish. So let's jump over, guys, and have a look at some of these riders that we're going to highlight this morning. First man is out of the US of A, Mr. Austin Venhausen, and he is a new Zwifter. So team dropouts, and we've got 7 in from team dropouts this evening, so no doubt they will have some coordination in how they're going to ride and who they're going to line up for this finish. So 185 centimetres tall and 69 kilos, the proverbial beanstalk. We've found another one, Tim. And last 10 starts, only 16 races, but 4 wins for Austin, a second and a third. And known to his mates as the Silly Yak, and his grandmother believes he's the most handsome human being on the planet. That is an actual fact.
That's lovely.
So there you go. So good luck to Austin, and we'll shout out to the next rider. You can handle that one, Tim.
I'm sure Austin really appreciates that little clip on the way through. So let's have a look at Matteo Dalcin. Greg likes to give me hard names, especially ones that are hyphenated. He organises the names, and he gives me the sheet and stitches me up. So if I've got that wrong, let us know in the Facebook comments. So out of Canada, and he's 195 centimetres.
He's a basketballer.
Jeepers, that is very, very tall. He'd be definitely on a large to extra large bike frame. And he's done 10 races. And he's going really well, about a 60% strike rate. But welcome to the Warrior races if this is your first Warrior race, because this one's hard to get a top 10 in. But all the best to Matteo, and hanging in early, and let's see how he goes up that Titans Grove com.
Yeah, nice. And third athlete to highlight is a man who has joined us, I'm going to say, over 15 times in the Warrior race, is Mr. Dan Messina out of the USA. He's a veteran. He has done 292 races. So very, very experienced. Last 10 starts, 2 wins and a bronze. So getting on the podium a few times there as well. Dan represents the Natural Grocers team, and those guys have really pumped into this event, Tim. So looking forward to seeing a heap of those guys out there and coordinating their attacks as well. And he's always thereabouts when the stuff starts to go down, particularly up this com. So hopefully Dan can hold in that front pack, and always a really good performer in the KOA Warrior race, and has been top 10 over 3 or 4 times in the past. So good luck to those 3 gentlemen, and let's get down to the paddock after we have a look at the Stinger.
Per kilo by Sproul.
Jason's coming back. Jason's coming back over the top.
Righto, here we are in the paddock. So, quick shout out to last week's winner of the 90 Days Zwift Code. So, if you enter the KOA Sports League during this broadcast, so over probably the next 35 minutes, you'll go in the running to win a 90-day Zwift Code valued at 700 Australian dollars, Tim. And that gentleman last week was by the name of Brett Gardner. So, welcome.
It's not 700 bucks.
Welcome, Brett, to the league.
It's 3 months. I think it's about 70 bucks, but it's pretty solid solid anyway.
So
Pretty solid anyway.
welcome to the lead, Brett. And we are going to do it again tonight, Tim. So definitely get involved and get registered, and you go into the draw to win that as well.
Yeah, 34 seconds here to go to race start. So expect to see some big attacks early, and that a big attrition, as we say, that pack will get stretched out as we go through. So we'll stick with A grade at the start, and then we'll start to work our way back through the field as we go through the sand section to try and cover off as many riders as we can. So welcome along for the first time if you're viewing. Get involved on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and shout out to Nathan Guerra at Zwift Community Live, giving us the support and the opportunity to bring these races to you guys.
Yeah, we're going to highlight a few comments as well that come through on the KOA Sports page too on Facebook,
Yes.
Tim. So if you've got any funny stuff or comments, shout outs for riders, fire those through, and Kappa will be all over it as well. But we'll be also highlighting comments verbally through the Zwift Community Live platform as well.
Here they go, well and truly up the road, and it's looking
The
good.
Hoff's in there, Tim.
Looking really good at this stage, Greg. So, yeah, we're nice and clean and away. So the Hoff is there away, putting some pressure. Don't hassle with the Hoff, as we say. Team Draft there coming right up on the outside. And Van Heusen, who we are, or I've definitely barbecued that name again as well. Huss in there, Boniface, Sproul, T-Day, Gleason. We'd love to see all these
Johnny
names.
Rocket.
We can see them on Zwift Power, but it's great to see them all representing their own kits now as well.
Yeah, amazing to see. What a huge pack, and have a look at the experience in this front group with the amount of Tron bikes, and you get a Tron bike by climbing 1 million kilometres uphill. Is that right, Tim?
No, you get
just
20.
50,000.
Yeah, 50. You get 20 Tron bikes, but yeah, if you're that dedicated and that committed, look out.
This is a huge, look at that, Tim, 241 starters. That is a record attendance this evening and this morning for the KOA Sports League race. And in the background there, we can see Bickley, definitely another athlete that we've highlighted before as well. Ryan McGee there, I can see in that front group as well, and all starting to bunch up. Here we go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I saw David Kimamato in there. Welcome along, mate. Great supporter of ours as well. Likes to share the stream. I think he's got a pretty deep connection there with Nathan, and has applied to join the KOA Sports League. Came through late last night, along with a couple of others, I should say. So
staff
that will be processed. We work Good Friday, mate. We just always go. Great to see Stinkforce in there. Unfortunate surname. Not sure if it's...
I don't know if it's legit,
shout
but
out.
geez, it's good.
But
So,
it is good. It is good indeed. Lionel Sanders, he's
Here
back.
he is. The
Lionel's
big boy's back. It's good to see Lionel back in there. Had a bit of an issue earlier on in the morning with his kicker, but we won't go too far into that.
No, we will.
But we will.
Well, we will. We're going to throw Talbot
I
right
wonder
under
if
the
Talbot's
bus.
watching. He's put his hand up and taking responsibility. But great to see Lionel back in, and I have no doubt that he's going to light this race up. He might be a little bit angry. So look out for Lionel having a big attack. And we'll see if Gilbert's in the field too, Tim, if he can run him down again.
Yeah, well, I think this Titans Grove Com is going to suit someone like Lionel to bust it and then try and hold it. So took down a whole bunch of pros, obviously, recently in a big Zwift race, and cutting his teeth here in the community as well, which is great to see. Isn't it great when you're out on Zwift at the moment and you can see some of these big stars rolling around, some of the big names in the World Tour as well, and you sort of, I don't know, you give them a bit of a flick of the elbow as you go past, or a little bit of a wave using the app. So great to see Lionel Sanders back from Canyon ZCC. And we did see Reese Howell, of course, as well in our race last night, the team manager
Shout
for
out to
Canyon
Reese.
ZCC. So, yep, good stuff. And John Lee Hooker, mate. J. Lee Hooker? Who knows?
But let's not go there right now. So good to see Gilbert at the front of that pack as well. So he will definitely be in the mix for the finish. And this front pack team is absolutely massive, as we are going to bring that up on Zwift Live very shortly. And the Hoff's still holding in there too. Geez, we're being good with some names. Well, now one thing too, we've got Messiino in there too, Tim. He... I think he'll attest to it. He went a little bit too early last night, so on the same course, so he'll be back. And he has 6 Argentinian nationals that are obviously going to help him out. There's a little group, Tim, just about 3 seconds off the back of the main pack, so we'll see if those guys can bridge back across as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So that would be amazing to see. We've got a funny comment. We'll try and push that through on the broadcast in a second. But yeah, really, as you say, Greg, tightly packed front pack, and then of course, interesting to see if there's any attacks. We've got a little breakaway there, maybe a second, but that'll be reined right in. But what you can, or maybe what you will see, is some coordination, of course, So that'll be interesting to see whether the teams start to line up and maybe put some attacks off the front and then stick a plug, as you like to say, in the main group, which we have seen Canyon being able to do.
Yes.
They're getting pretty good at it.
They
dictating
put the
terms.
big proverbial plug straight in the front of the group, Tim, and look around and say to everyone else, well, we're not chasing that boy down, so if you want to do it, off you go, son. So I'm just having a quick look back there to this. We're just following a few riders in the C-grade group as well, which is great. And a big bunch of those guys absolutely getting it together as well, as they're about 30 seconds off this main pack at the moment.
Jay Dunphy there as well of AHDR, so good to see that as well. So we're just going to slide back here along the sand circuit and pick up some of the other riders. Of course, we've got over 240 riders in the event at the moment, and we're with Hieti in there. We've got some C and D graders going together, Jay Lasher, and we'll start to work our way around. So there's a bit of a view there, a good view there. I'm on the helicopter right now, and Cap has just given me the flick again.
He's just
so,
popped you off.
thought I'd have half a chance. Give me half a chance.
We're back with this. What group are we watching here? We're going to come back to the A-grade group in the peloton here as well. So these are the groups.
These are races within races, Greg. You
Absolutely.
know, races within races. It's not all about the front. Of course, they light up some pretty big numbers. But these guys here, a pack of, say, 15, 20 cyclists out on course, giving it a red-hot go. Look for them in the sprint finish as well. So like I said, we'll try and drop back and pick up some of the bigger packs towards the back because it's all relative to intensity, right? So this, mind you, C-grade here, 270 watts, holding a nice cadence. So we'll jump back towards the front, and we might just go through for those who are tuning in for the first time and wondering what all these avatars are doing. There's a funny bit of inside news there, Greg.
Oh, here we go. So one of what we've got here, Tim, one
That's
of the
from Pete
riders
Sinclair.
only dragged himself. Now, typical 16, we've all been 16 years of age, Tim, and when you're on a holiday, a life.
Not if you're 15.
Well, 15, 16, you're out of bed at 10 to 9 in the morning. What the hell is going on? That's what Tim does on most of his days off too. He sleeps until about 8:30 and then gets up and sorts out the family. So there's Pozzolini too, Tim, just having a little push off the front. And our man there, Austin Van Housen, definitely at the front of that group as well. We highlighted him pre-race, and he is saluting and pushing to the front, pushing his new broadcast FTP, no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt indeed, mate. So, geez, I was dealing with one of the great Poonamis as a father this morning.
Don't you
worry about that. You're talking about getting up early. Holy moly. Kids have talent, let me tell you. So, Amato in there, King, Fitzpatrick, and Conti. So, we love those names, Greg. And this is really that's 2% gradient. Is that only time where sometimes we see an attack, but it looks like this is going to stay together, and they're going to keep their powder dry until we start to get into a lot more elevation. But you never know. They may attack over the next few minutes. But some good packs back through the field as well.
I can see Eric Lazelle back in the back there, Tim, in a new kit, in a white kit, and he's got a teammate right beside him. So from the Cannondale 4i team. Okay. So possibly a little kit change there. So we'll have to pick some of these guys up. Geez, it's good to see them all in their racing kits. It'll be nice and easy for us to pick them out as they come through. A little push off the front there from, looks like Conti, a bit further up the road there. So we'll get up to that rider in a minute, but that will definitely not stay away.
Talking about pushes off front, keep your eye on Lionel Sanders because he had a bit of a push off the front. So last week in the Warrior race, if you did happen to miss it, you can go back and grab the highlight, but he went early on that Watopia flat course, put the hammer down, and just at the line got pipped there by... I hope I got this right. Was it Gilbert?
Gilbert, yeah.
Or Giuliano?
No, Gilbert got him. Yeah. Gilbert got him with the perfectly timed power up and came over the top of him and put 2 bike lengths into him to take the chockies.
I think someone said, and then they saw Sanders out there for another 2 hours just pushing the same power. So, just pretty funny stuff. So Gilbert back in there, you'll see .luc_G. That is, look at Gilbert, who has had great success out here in our Warrior race.
Yeah, one of the best, and definitely a big hitter on the Zwift stage at the moment. And you'll see Eric Hart in that front group as well. He's always thereabout. And the man out of Japan there, Taguchi, I have seen him in the field before as well. So a lot of these guys and girls backing up now week after week. And looks like Lionel's been working on his racecraft through the week, Tim, because he is sitting positioned right in the middle of that pack. So obviously a few tips coming through there from his teammates at Canyon ZCC.
We've got our first view now of Nathan's house, which we know and love all so well. So make sure you give Nathan a little bit of a clip for that, because I don't know how he managed to do that, get Zwift to model that house in here in the game. So Look, I can't really give IT clips, can I, Kent Cross, because, I'm not that great. I think yesterday I had 4 goes at putting the one Instagram story up. And,
that was hilarious.
That was so I can't really give Talbot Cox a little bit of a clip because I'm hopeless, but we will anyway. But it took me a few goes to put the Insta story up. And Kent, I think it's our first time welcoming Kent to the broadcast,
you're welcome,
mate. Welcome
Cappuccino.
along, mate.
We've just got to make sure are you awake? You're with us? You're all going good over there?
Just about. I had a pretty intense night of sleep, I'm ready to go today. But this has certainly woken me up.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't you tell? He's pumped. He's up and really about. Pumped. He's absolutely up and about.
I'm on my seat jumping around. Can't you see?
About probably 3 or 4 minutes till we climb into some climbing action here on the Sand and Sequoia circuit. And before we do that, we're just going to have a little glass of water, just whet the appetite. I don't know about you, but last night just took a little bit on the throat.
The hardest day of work I've done in years, Tim.
Let's just take a 30-second break, and we'll be back with more action here on the KOA Sports Warrior Race in the community here on Zwift. I'm still a bit flat that
worried about that
didn't get to go to Milan this year.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe we can still go, Tim.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that'd be great. You go, I'll see you in a couple of years.
Great to see that BMC team machine on there, and I have one of them in my garage, which is on a very noisy indoor trainer at the moment that still needs some work and attention, but we'll get to that soon. Now, let's get Kappa to drop us back to this second group we're watching, which is a bloody big group, Tim. And,
it's a nice group.
And there's a whole heap of riders here. We've got A, B, and C grade riders in there, and I'm going to say that they're about 30 seconds to 40 seconds back from that main pack. The main pack now just hitting about 9 kilometres on the course, so and these guys now, you can see they're probably a little bit further than what we thought.
Yep.
They're coming past Nathan's holiday house at the moment, and just past the Clive Palmer banana on the right-hand side.
N Gans are in there, S Cochrane, D Clark, S Davies, Adachi, and C Nugent as well. So nice little group in there. We'll expect to see a really good finish in there, and we'll look to jump back and call that action, albeit I'm sure we'll get some attrition in this group as well as we go through a lovely view. I'm very good at flying the helicopter, as you can see. So let's jump back forward, because we expect to see some fireworks now as they're coming out of the sand section and up into the Grove. Gumbel working his way to the front. Eric Hart's in there, Greg. We know Eric Hart can hold strong.
Dropouts off the front.
Yeah, certainly Eric Hart can hold strong on the climb. So look for some orange lights here on the right-hand side. Gumbel, 9.5 watts per kilo. That's a definite attack here. Van Hughes in there, 10 watts per kilo now off the front, putting the hammer down. 656 watts, 146 beats per minute. Van Heusen now starting to stretch this front group out. Look for attrition, and let's see who can hang in. We might only have half a group left at the top of this com.
Yeah, so Van Heusen pushing it off the front there, and definitely highlighted him. He's a new Zwifter, and with team dropout, so there'll be some coordination going on there, and he will rip it up this climb, no doubt about it. So good luck and go hard, the Silky Yak.
Sanders in there, about fourth wheel. He's in the Carrion EC team.
Pozzolini.
Yeah, in the Pozzolini as well, and Gua and Gilbert as well. So nice little tight group. Front pack there. They've just got a second back, but here they come back through. So again, is such as the nature. We said pre-race, 20 people with a rider rating of under 200. So good luck trying to drop some of these big names, but we're still going to have at least 30 people in the finish, you'd think, Greg.
And yeah, great stuff. And to see Kenta Endo joins us every single week, Tim. He's right at the front of that group, and Boniface in there as well. So Gumbel, this is like this field, Tim. This is going to get lit up like a tinderbox any minute.
I'm glad you went with that. I thought you were going to say something else. So Big E, some really experienced Zwift riders as well. So we saw some really big names in an earlier race as well, but maybe not so experienced in Zwift. But we've got some really experienced guys with 300-400 Zwift race starts. So this is where it's at. This is where you want to learn your craft. This is where you want to make your mistakes and watch how the big guns of Zwift go about their business.
Yeah, so if you're holding onto those bars, hold on a little bit longer. It does flatten out just for a little bit before we start hitting that comm. So you want to hold in this pack as long as you can. And Lionel, I did see Lionel there right at the front of the group. His heart rate was 138 beats a minute, if you don't mind, pushing 6 watts a kilo. So they've got Gleason coming through there to the front. These guys are all rolling to the front and then rolling off. So they're very experienced. They do not want to be pushing too much power. And as we see another rider there off the front, that looks like Pikey, Tim, going off the front in the KOA Sports jersey, having a little push, and he's always in the aero helmet.
Handy triathlete.
Or it's might even, that's definitely him, just coming back through the field now.
Handy triathlete indeed. So, and just a reminder, if you do join up to the KOA Sports League during this broadcast, you'll just like last week, you go in a random draw to win a 90-day code, and you can just apply that to your Zwift account and get 3 months for free, which would come in very, very handy. So if you've got a bit of FOMO, of course, this community race, anyone can join. We've been going for a long time in the community, but we do have a private race league. We've got some verified races where we have full visibility over Training Peaks data as well. We've got over 240 now verified athletes, over 400 people in the league, and that is building along like a steam train and going to fast hit 1,000 members, I would say, certainly in the next few months. So it's great to see people climbing on board, and we had about 38 people sign up just last night during the broadcast. So look out for that, but let's go to the action. We've just started the comm here now, so will we see some early attacks, or pretty hard to attack, Greg, when you've got such as the quality of the riders, A-Boost and Villarano in there, Uberti, Ungara, and Kappa keeps pointing to the screen, and it is really, I don't know what he's pointing at.
I was pointing at the dinosaurs running next to them.
Oh, my God. Here we go. So we're talking about a bike race, and all Kappa wants to speak about is a little Tyrannosaurus Rex running along the side of the road.
They're running at 50 kilometres an hour. That's pretty impressive.
Shut the gate. so it's good to see. It's good to see Kappa. What about, look at all those birds. There's another dinosaur, Kappa. But really good. They're definitely thinned out a little bit, Tim, that front group as they came through those first
Sproul's
rollers.
Still there, Greg.
Yeah, and the Zwift Kid just hitching back onto that group as well.
Commonwealth Bank shout out again, Greg?
No, not this week. I did look around to see if we had any bankers in the field, but I didn't find any.
Did you get any discounts during the week? Did you get a letter in the mail?
No, they knocked me back.
Not again.
So, that's
not
right.
Again.
Come see me in 5 years, they said.
Hassel the Hoff's in there. So some team members in there, Greg. Team members able to work together and maybe get that big steam train going along the late sections at that ancient ruins part, of course, of this finish line.
Yeah, I did see a rider just dropped right out of that group, so possibly a little bit of a technical issue there. They've just stopped on the middle of the road. You can just see them back there, so hopefully they get rolling again, but that's never good to see. And I hope it wasn't Lionel's iPad dying again.
I just want to put a shout out to Alex Side, who is still in the race.
Absolutely.
By this time, he's normally dropped out.
Kappa giving a little clip along the way.
He's still going.
He's still hanging in there.
So watch for him, because he loves the climbs.
He's Kappa. That's great. That's great.
That is good. So
as we start to go 4% up now, just trying to get back on. That's a dropouts rider trying to haul ass. Whoop, there we go. Straight back onto the group. So you can see him start to thin out now. So 3%, 4%. Ericart's still in there, starting to thin out.
Sanders definitely moving through to the front there. You can see him 8.1 watts per kilo coming across the top of that comm. We thought about this. We thought that this would suit his style of racing. We've got Boniface alongside him and Gilbert there coming with the power up as well. I'm not quite sure who's paying that feather power up. We'll try and pick that up. Of course, just
Gilbert.
taking a little bit of weight off in the green kit. Sorry, hard to recognise. So Gilbert there in the green kit.
So you got Gilbert and Boniface both in the green kit on the yellow and the blue Tron bike, and Pozzolini on the back of that group as well, just hanging in there on the black bike with the disc wheel. and a few others coming back across as well. And we're just following Lionel there. He's punched that heart rate up to 149, and we saw last week he topped out at about 158. So he's still got a little bit more petrol to give there.
Yeah, epic power there. So great view there of the group coming up, and there's that attrition. But there's some gaps there that will be closed. Aiden Sinclair comes across and closes the gap. That's a very smart move because these guys aren't going to let up. This is absolutely fair income on, and here they come, start to close that gap back across. So haven't lost as many as I thought, and that just goes to the heart of some of the riders in here. Not too long now until we come across the top of the com where they can either pick up a new power up or just keep the one in the back pocket that they already have.
Yeah, probably a good one if you've got the old draft bust or the aero helmet. It's probably the ones you want to keep for this ride. You do not want to feather power up at the top of this com for this sprint home, because the likes of Gilbert, Boniface, Sproul and these sorts of guys know how to use their power ups like no one else in this business. So they often, here they go now, Tim, straight across the top of that com, and we've got Birdie taking the chockies as he goes across the top. Aiden Sinclair in third wheel, and the great Chappelli's back, Tim. Chappelli's back in there as well. So Kent thinks he's a 10-pin bowler, but he was actually a famous cricketer in Australia.
I think we definitely got not a match burnt, but we certainly saw an attack there of 4 to 5 riders just coming up the late part, but they shut it down. They bridged that back across, so sometimes we have seen it go down to 5-6 riders and then they're away. But hey, we are absolutely here with at least another 30 riders again, so great to see. This is going to make for a barnstorming finish on this KOA Sports Warrior race.
Yeah, huge front gap and pack, and all of those riders we highlighted pre-race, and you can see a lot of them there, very experienced getting into that aero tuck position as they come down at 5% downhill, and you can see Sprowley, we're watching there at the moment, only pushing 2 watts a kilo to stay with the group.
And watch for in about 60 seconds time that next little ramp, that 6 to 8%er that comes up. So that's also hard because your heart rate hasn't come quite down enough. It's still, look at Sproul here, 178 beats per minute, hasn't quite come down, and then it's just another little punch in the face before it starts to flatten off. So you've still got to hang in there. There's still some work to do. And will we see an attack here from the likes of Sanders, the Big E, and of course Endo? And we saw Gilbert. He's off the front again, Gilbert. So doing a little bit of work here at this stage of the race.
Yeah, and Van Housen burning up his power up to come back to the group there and just rolling straight through to the front. So he's burned his power up very, very early. So that's going to hurt him on the finish line, but he needed it to get back into the group.
Sinclair there, 9.3 watts per kilo. He's coming through to the front. Ungura as well, 10 watts per kilo, and Downing 4.8 watts per kilo. Here's that kick right now. Boniface out of the saddle, working hard. Here we go with Aiden Sinclair as he comes across the top, still staying together. Sanders moves through to the front. Such is the power that he's got. He's going to probably have to keep the pressure on, because if it turns into a 30-second sprint, that's going to be very, very difficult, knowing some of the sprinters in this race tonight.
Absolutely, and dragging across with him there, another great triathlete out of the US of A, Ryan Giuliano, who joins us most weeks as well. So he'll be certainly figuring in the finish, no doubt, has taken the biscuits on a couple of occasions. Look at this group, Tim. They're strung out now, and a bit of attrition off the back as well. We're down to about 30 riders. They're going to fight this one out, but there's still a lot of work to do there. Minus 7%, 4% uphill, so plenty of work to do to stay with this group. We've got Hassel the Hoff still hanging in there too, and Gumbel, the Team Finesse guys are really well represented in this front group, with Gumbel still hanging in there as well.
A lot of these riders are also members of the league as well, so we know them really well. We know their strengths, so of course you can join the KOA Sports League, www.koasportsleague.com. It is for free, and get involved. Tell your mates, and if you join during this broadcast, you'll go in the draw to win a 90-day Zwift code. Yeah. Back to the action here. Luke Gilbert there missing. He is sitting in mid-pack. A Bus in there. Giuliano. Jeez, this is going to be fun to call, Greg.
Oh, mate, they're all over the place. At least they're in their own jersey. So we got a quick shout out to Ben Nothling. He has made the prediction that Lionel Sanders is going to go long and go hard and ride away from everyone. So we'll see what's going to happen.
Hard group to break away from. That's certainly a strategy that has worked for Lionel in the past and probably definitely plays to his strengths. But believe you me, there are some people here that potentially could go with him. He's moved through to the front again, so we'll keep an eye on that. Canetti, have we still got Ericard in that front group? Usually he hangs in there. Don't know whether Ericard... Yep, there he is. Pedro Ericard still in there as well. Henderson, the Zwift kid, Ciano, Eric Lizelle. Look at Lizelle, such a smart Zwift racer there, always towards the back of the pack. You've very rarely see him bob up until the finish line.
Yeah, and a Chilean rider there, Rodriguez, just re-establishing himself in that group as well. So Aidan Sinclair just sitting off the back. Maybe he's gone back to sleep, Tim, but I reckon if he was asleep 10 minutes before this race, he is not asleep anymore. His heart rate will be starting to climb, and watch for him have a big push off the front. He might judge his sprint finish a little bit better than he did last night.
Cohen off the front there. Cohen does like to come forward, doesn't he, in that yellow jersey? We see him come forward quite a few times. It's interesting to see different dynamics and different patterns and different behaviours of riders. So you see Lionel's always towards the front already. That's obviously a bit of a trademark, and might change over time as people learn and hone their craft.
Yeah, so 5 dropout riders still in this front group. So with Ryan Giuliano in there as well. So huge front pack for the dropouts, and they will certainly contest. They'll be very disappointed if they don't take a podium position here.
Straight off the front there, still got that sort of 5 metre gap. So doing a lot of work off the front. Oliver Dowd in there as well. We've previewed Ollie Dowd and Kenta Endo, I think that's right as well. So moving through the pack, and Giuliano. So we spoke about this in the rider preview. So they'll either start to fight for the back of the pack, or they'll start to wind up and attack early. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, here comes Gilbert now. Van Housen off the front again.
Teammate.
So
here we go.
Gilbert will put a plug in the front, and they'll look aside to see Lionel.
This is strategy.
6 watts a kilo now from Van Housen. Team dropouts as he puts about a 10-minute gap into a 10-metre gap, if you don't mind, into the group. And McLoone there, the B&B rider, coming across to drag that pack back across, pushing 7 watts a kilo.
Great move there by Van Heusen as well, just not letting him sit in like we did see it so many times on this circuit where they sit in at like low 200s for an APAC and they start to get their heart rates down. It turns into a 10-second all-out war. So here we go, still applying the pressure back down to mid-200. So maybe we're seeing a little bit of that again as they start to work out where they want to be for the attack and the finish line coming up in a few minutes' time, and a nice ride-on bomb play. Alex Side still in there, Kappa. He is hanging in there. Let's see if he can finish the race.
Yeah, and doesn't kick out his PowerPoint like some professional triathletes have done in the last few weeks. So good to see Alex still. Good to see Alex still in there. We've got about 2 kilometres to go here, and the old stager there, Brett Boniface, sat right at the back of that group, Tim, on that blue Tron bike. So watch for him as they rip it up to the line as well. There's a bit of navel gazing going. Here goes Lionel now off the front. He's starting to put some power down now. 2 kilometres to go. So he'll look.
Great view.
Yep, I've called him off the front and he's just sat up again.
Yeah, Sproul there. We know Sproul's colours. We've got another. We've got definitely Mago there walking his way through the front. Polly, Gleason, and Giuliano. McLoone, Downing. The Zwift kid, Uberti still in there. And look for Cohen in the finish. Cohen has gone early in the past. Let's see what happens here. Sanders moves to the front again.
Yeah, definitely going to take the most combative rider this evening, along with a few of those dropouts riders. So go hard and go long, says Jason Avery coming in on social. So good to see Jason dialing in, working hard again, although it is Good Friday in Australia. So good to see the Irish flag in there, Tim. Bit of heritage for me. That Mago's still in that front group, and good luck to him in the finish. And we've got Lead Beater in there too. I haven't seen his name pop up at all. So
interesting seeing a guy like Sproul towards the front of the pack at this stage. Usually likes to flash late, so just moving his way through to the front, shoulder to shoulder there with Lionel Sanders. We're moving into the final kilometre at the moment, and look for those ancient ruins on the right-hand side.
Someone coming hard through the pack now, Tim. Some big orange lights through there. So bang, straight off the front. If we can just grab that.
Buss is 10.6 watts per kilo, puts 2 seconds down. He's thrown it down. Catch me if you can, he says. 11.1 watts per kilo.
They've let him go a little bit, and the Zwift kids on the front of the group. Here comes Sanders now, 9 watts a kilo. We might stay with him, Kappa, as he pushes back across. 9.4 watts a kilo. Watch that heart rate from Sanders climb. And then we've got Boniface there on that blue Tron bike, just holding in there with Downing as well, and Van Housen and Alex Side still in that front 6.
Yep.
So good gap here, about 5-6 seconds off to the front. So Buss is back to 10, 11 watts a kilo. Lionel's still pushing 8 watts a kilo. I don't know if that's going to be enough this evening. Once we see all these power-ups being played any minute, we've got Sinclair still in that front group as well.
Yep, coming up the finish line now. Here's the sprint com. So Buss there, he's put 5 seconds gap. Not sure if they're going to have the time to catch him. We've got a massive attack now by Day as well, and Eric Hart responds. Gilbert 10.9, 12 watts per kilo by Gilbert. Can they close Buss down? I think Buss is gone. He's long way up the road. Messineo, G. Cohen there, 10.9 watts per kilo. Eric Lizelle here off the front. He's put the hammer down, timed that run perfectly, and Lizelle goes all the way across the line, and another well-timed attack by Eric Lizelle. Absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect by Lizelle there.
We'll have to wait for those official finishes and results to come through on Zwift Power, but a few things happening there, and Lizelle Lizelle timing that attack once again perfectly. Let's see if we can jump back across Kappa while we're waiting for those results, and we'll catch this second group as we wanted to highlight a few of those riders as well if we can.
Yeah, poor old Bus there gets the cone, the new cone that's rolling around. So interesting to see, and I know they're certainly testing out a lot of new features. So Eric Lizelle there, what did we say with 3 minutes to go?
Watch Lizelle.
Lizelle, you never see him until the finish. One of the great Zwift races, I think, in Zwift at the moment, and the Cannondale quadruple I, is it, team? I always get that wrong. That'll do. So we're back
power meter.
Back here at the moment with that group we were with earlier. So they've got a nice mix here of some C and B riders as well. So nice tight pack, and Kappa, you probably want to come over here and fly the helicopter, mate, because I am dead set hopeless. But
we're just watching Kukasaki there now with Marin, B-grade rider as well. So not too far for these guys to go. They've just gone past that start gate area where we started 22 kilometres or 21 kilometres ago. So good to see some AHDR representation in there. And a shout out to Paul Mack. He's definitely in that group. Old mate from Sydney with the Hills Tri Club, sporting a little bit of an injury at the moment, so cannot push too hard. So good to see him in that pack as well. And we'll start to see some red and orange numbers come through from this group as well, no doubt, as they roll around. So some really, really great racing out there, Tim. Had to see, again, just the perfectly timed power-ups used by these athletes. And Van Housen there was just, he had to burn up his a little bit earlier to get back to that group, so didn't quite have it for the finish. So these guys just rolling around still here. And
starting to line up though, Greg. We might see an early attack. They're starting to pick up another few riders as well. So interesting to see at this point. So here we've got in the moment, we've got Marin as well. We'll call it off this screen here. It's probably much easier. Trotter and Gloria there on the left-hand side there in the green level 25 kit. So that's a solid effort. So there's some Japanese riders in Watanabe, Kizuka and Van Leeuwen out of New Zealand, I believe that is.
Yeah, so they're just rolling around here. They'll hit the
Bonifacio. Not Boniface, but Bonifacio.
Oh,
There's
well
a Bonifacio in
you
there.
You turned Italian. That's great. So
it's actually Argentinian, Greg.
That'll do.
Come on.
So another Chilean rider in there as well, and a Romanian flag there with Marin as well. That's good to see. We don't see that in there too much. And we've just got off the front of that group. We won't go up to them, but good shout out to Christensen there from the Natural Grocers team as well.
Wilden in there, he's just moving his way through to the front. Wilden there in the camo kit, and Cracker Cornish in there, Greg. So he's up the road 45 seconds. I know he's doing a live stream of his event at the moment. Such is the nature. So many people getting into the live streaming of their own pain caves. It's good to see the in real life version of the avatars. So Paulie Mack rolls to the front. We've got the ruins there up on the right hand side. There's Bonifacio, Greg, of course, which I called earlier.
This is going to light up any minute now. So they're absolutely just staying together here. A bit of navel gazing going on as we always see, but a few high heart rates there at the back. We're just jumping through the field, so as we go through the ruins here as well. So
yeah, Marin's positioned themselves really, really well as we start that sprint com. Will we reach orange lights back here in B grade? It's always interesting to see. So Wilden there moving through to the front, and Watanabe as well in the Japanese flag. They start to move through. 417 watch here by Watanabe. Will stay with him as he moves through to the pack. Bonifacio there off the front in A grade. Kukuzaki as well.
Here we go,
an attack on the camouflage kit. Wilden now moves through to the front. A well-timed aero power helmet that should slingshot S. Wilden to the line out of this group. Wilden now hanging on, put 1 second back to the rest of the pack. Will they be able to hang on? We've got a late attack here by Del Santo, and Wilden just takes the win there back in that pack.
So great.
What that brings to life is that there are races within races. So you've got 240 avatars out there or riders, and you might have 6 to 7 sprint finishes all at once. So
yeah, what a great event, and absolutely great to see these packs fighting it out. That was for 90th position overall, but I'm going to say there was a C-grade winner in that group as well. So, Tim, we've got some results coming through on ZP, which I might run through if that's okay.
Absolutely, let's do it.
So we're going to start with the great man, Eric Lizelle, who's taken the Bickies a few times in the KOA Sports Warrior League races and things like that. So first up, I'm going to be looking down at the screen a little bit here, so bear with me. Eric Lizelle, we had Luke Gilbert just missing 0.3 of a second for second place, always on the podium. Messineo perfectly timed compared to his attack last night in third place. So well done. Took Brett Boniface there to get on the podium. In fifth place, we had Alessandro Sproul. Welcome back, Sprowley. The new guy that we highlighted pre-race, Van Housen there in sixth place. Just burned his power up a little bit early. Matt McClune in seventh. Ryan Giuliano, as always, in eighth place. Ninth place was Chris Uberti out of the USA. And rounding out the top 10, Tim, this makes me really happy. Young Aidan Sinclair out of New South Wales got up 10 minutes before the race. So good to see him in the top 10.
Yeah, great to see indeed. And you would have seen there, bottom left, that said joint event. There's about 10 minutes to go till the next KOA Sports League race. So from next week, we'll be doing back-to-back broadcasts. So we'll go rolling straight through. So we'll stay on this broadcast. But we're testing out a couple of new features that we're looking to roll out over the next month or so. So we'll be doing a little silent job, a little pilot on the side. So from next week, though, we'll be rolling from the community race straight to the league race. I know we've got about 40 riders in the race coming up. They're doing 2 laps of Innsbruck. So look to join the KOA Sports League. Like I said, this broadcast is still going right now. We've got a clock on it. So you've got a chance there to win a 90-day Zwift code and be part of what I believe, I'm a little bit biased, but a great little league that you can be a part of. And a lot of verified racing as well, Greg. But it's been a massive 12 to 24 hours. And I don't know about you, but I'm about to tuck into some hot cross buns.
Oh, hot cross bun chocolate or just the standard variety?
Standard
orange
standard with a bit of jam.
No orange fill. So great to see everyone out there. Enjoy your holiday with your family all around the world over the next 4 days. Really good time to get on Zwift, actually, and join the KOA Sports League. We'll see you next week on the KOA Sports League. We'll be running 2 huge broadcasts once again, so looking forward to seeing you then. In the meantime, ride on.